Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a capsule selection. Today, your boy got a vibe for you once again. Today, we're going to explore the art of fragrances and the stories that they tell. Tonight, I'm eager to get out to you this selection because this is one where we're going to turn up the heat on this capsule selection. This is one that's all about seduction, mystery, and an undeniable allure. I love putting out these lists because every list I put out there's a juxtaposition to, and this one here is specifically for the title disclaimer. It's going to help you with that particular situation, that raw, sexual, and erotic feel, that exotic feel, and how you can help your lady remove her panties. These aren't just your everyday scents. These aren't just your everyday fragrances. These are the ones that command attention, command allure. They spark desire and leave an unforgettable impression. To me, these are great from my collection. These are ones that have done this for me. These are ones that have actually put the execution into play. And undeniably, they've done the desirable. So for me, I'm talking about scents that walk the walk, talk the talk, and they actually walk the fine line between sophistication and sensuality, which I love in a fragrance. So if this sounds like the type of content you think you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuances of scent, cigars, and wines. I'm your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. We are stepping up the game of this particular capsule selection. This is for the people who are living their greatest lives, and this is for the ones stepping into the world of pure seduction. Fragrances so alluring that they bound themselves to turn heads and leave a lasting impression. I love these particular scents from my collection. They are wardrobe bangers. These are the scents that command attentions, fellas. These are the ones that ignite chemistry and they make unforgettable impressions, which I love to do. So if this is like a list that you've been searching for or want in your actual wheelhouse of fragrance attention getters, I got some bangers for you. So tonight we're going to start off with one of my favorites from the house of Tom Ford. If you love to do things that are provocative and sensual and fragrances that exude the charm and charisma that I'm about to present to you, this one is undeniably one of the best in the market. So first off, we're going to talk about Noir Extreme. So first off, like I stated, Noir Extreme from the house of Tom Ford. Beautiful scent that is the epitome of indulgent masculinity. It's bold, it's daring, and it's unapologetically seductive. To me, the success story of what this one is, the star player of this one, the kufi note that brings unique creamy sweetness to this one, it feels exotic and it feels luxurious, which basically brings a unique and creamy sweetness that feels like it's otherworldly when it comes to the scent profile of this one. You've never smelled that particular kufi note in anything. It presents itself as a sweet, gourmand attention grabber while it has this opening of like saffron and nutmeg inside of it. The cardamom, as I stated, it ignites a spice warmth that is just beautiful. The amber and vanilla base in this one linger on and on for hours on the skin while leaving you as a smoldering ember individual. It makes a scent that is intimate and unforgettable for the masculine skin, and it just comes off very unique, very beautiful. It is a fragrance for a man who thrives in the spotlight. It's an effortless fragrance that combines charm with an edge of mystery or mysteriousness. And that's the beautiful thing about the Tom Ford Extreme. I know that they have a new one on the market, but I always keep telling you guys I have to sample that one. The original Tom Ford Noir Extreme is one of the most beautiful, decadent designer fragrances on the market. It's one that when you wear it, it sets the tone for an unforgettable evening if you're going on a date or just chilling and sitting back having cocktails, going to the bar, whatever. If you have a candlelight for just a room for two, anything that goes in that realm, this is going to be one of the panty dropper fragrances that you want to pull for an evening of seduction. Full stop. Like I said, the hallmark of Kufi, just a great fragrance that Tom Ford has put on the market. You guys know about it. Super unique, super beautiful, super masculine. Tom Ford Noir Extreme, first on the list of panty droppers for 2024 fall. Beautiful fragrance, man. Very addictive. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, I have one of the beautiful fragrances from the house of BDK Parfums. BDK Parfums is a French brand that I'm slowly creeping into their collection. I have 3 of their actual fragrances. They all are different than those on the market I've smelled. They have some unique appeal to them, is what I want to say. Tabac Rose is the most unique one for me, the most beautiful one for me. It has this femininity to it that actually causes a seductive key to it. But at the end of the day, this particular fragrance is one that is just gorgeous wearing. It is a powerful statement of confidence when it combines the smoky allure of tobacco and a dark energy of sweet, jammy rose. Beautiful fragrance, man. This one here, I love the bottle presentation. It's a fragrance that you have to imagine the sophistication of a tailored suit paired with a raw magnetism and unbuttoned collar. Just chill, you relax. This is a fragrance that captures quality and sensuality. I love the way that the chocolate and patchouli undertones of this one really bring out the magnetism of masculinity. It adds a woodiness to a gourmand fragrance that has a lot of depth. And while a hint of spice wraps itself around the commanding presence of that rose, it has this warm depth to it that is ultimately sensual. The pepper spices kick in, the cinnamon kicks in, the patchouli, everything about this one, it just comes to a culmination of sensuality and a panty dropper for a fella. It's beautiful. This is one that keeps people guessing because it has these wafts that go back and forth between the rose and the tobacco and the chocolate. Very sensual fragrance that our guy Julian Rasquinet put together for us. It's very, very sensual. It just leaves enough intrigue to keep them wanting more, which is a great fragrance compound to put on your skin. Perfect for nights when you want to feel a presence around you, a lingering presence that has a great waft, a great sillage, and long after you've left the room, the women around you will want more of you. First, it's gotta be for when you're picking up a BDK fragrance, test and see what Tabac Rose does for you. You've heard what it does. You've seen what people talked about. This is a panty dropper for certain, fellas. Tabac Rose, BDK Parfums. Ladies and gentlemen, next on the list, one of the most grand fragrances on the market from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Regality, sensuality, culminates into one beautiful fragrance that is just a head turner. Satin Mood is an elegant fragrance that is its purest form is a fragrance that is for the wearer to be thought of as a seductive player in the game. How else can you put this particular scent other than saying it's one of the most seductive panty droppers on the market? Scents are made to convey a message. Scents are conveyed to tell a story. The story that the Maison Francis Kurkdjian Satin Mood tells is of head-turning allure. It's a well-tailored suit accessory that we all need in our wardrobe. Get yourself a sample. See what this does on your skin. The sweet rose is here. It's not shy. It's velvety. It's decadent. It layers itself with this beautiful vanilla and this ambery take of just radiant, soft, golden warmth that is just beautiful. It goes into this irresistible smoothness that's just, it's almost like feeling satin on the skin when you laying up with your loved one, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful touch and tone to put in any relationship. It captures attention without being overpowering as well. It has great projection, but it's one that does not overtake, and that's a one. Everyone will smell you, but they won't be inundated with the scent. It's like one that just creeps into your nose and just becomes attractive. You remember Pepper Le Pew from Looney Tunes? How we used to follow the skunk used to follow his lady around. That's what you get when you depict the note of Satin Mood from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This is one for the man who prefers subtle sophistication over brass intensity. It makes for a perfect date night scent, fellas. Just hands down, full stop. It's one that is quite impressive because of its quiet confidence building, and it's a scent for a man who doesn't chase, he attracts. That's point blank, point period, stop. He does not chase, he attracts. That's what you want to come from with this particular scent. Maison Francis Kurkdjian, Satin Mood, take it to the bank. That is the quote for the day. He does not chase, he attracts. Satin Mood. Get your nose on it, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, next on the list, we got a new fragrance on the market coming out from Maison Francis Kurkdjian as he is at the helm of the perfume brand in Dior. He's going to rebuild Dior on Parfum. I want to let you know that the way that the original has taken over in a lot of our collections and smells so beautiful from 2014 or 2015, maybe even 2016 when they came out with this particular scent. I know I got my bottle way back when. It's one that is particularly fascinating to me because of the use of that iris that they love to put in their fragrances, along with this rough and rugged leather accord. At the end of the day, this fragrance is a modern gentleman to the T. It's a man who embraces both his strength and his sensitivity. That's exactly what this is. The leather is the bold strength. The sensitivity comes from that iris and ambrette compound. The powderiness of this iris at the heart is the masterpiece that you cannot be unforgettable when they smell this on your skin. This is one that's giving a refined, almost poetic sensuality to the fragrance. It's a rich leather sandalwood that's grounded in darkness and sensuality, which is just phenomenal to wear as a panty dropper. It's more of a rugged masculinity than the Dior Homme Intense or Dior Homme original EDP or EDT. That's what makes this one of those panty droppers for those who want to present a more rugged masculinity to the scent profile. The contrast between the soft florals and the deep woody notes on this create an unforgettable dynamic that is like a tailored suit, as I love to say. That is the ultimate attraction for a woman when she wants to be intimate with you. She wants to see you as being put together, refined, but also having an edge to you. And that is what Dior Homme Parfum does. It's a tuxedo with a rebellious streak. This is the scent for those who appreciate timeless elegance, but they want a little bit of a twist to their fragrance. They want something off the beaten path, just a little bit different, dark, sweet, smooth, powdery, effective in the way that it presents itself as an attractor. This one is perfect for black tie events, or even just a night out, or even a night just chilling. It's one that exudes effortless sophistication and one that I truly enjoy wearing in those occasions. I cannot wait, like I stated, to see what Maison Kurkdjian or Francis Kurkdjian does with the new formulation. But as of right now, this parfum is a beautiful scent to drop panties when you wear it. Dior Homme Parfum. Ladies and gentlemen, next up in the collection, it's a fragrance you're going to hear more about this particular winter and fall from me, or fall and winter, I should say, for me, man. This one here, if you guys like my recommendations, I won't say go out and blind buy that. Don't ever do that. Don't ever go out and blind buy anything, man. This stuff costs too much money to be blind by. Having a purpose behind it is what you want. Being a collector of these particular items, I love the way that these things smell. That's why I have them in my collection. If you're the same, pop off, do what you do. This one, Amber Star along with the Musk Star line. I could have put both in because I actually wear them in combination a lot since getting this in my collection. But at the end of the day, Amber Star is the one that penetrates the nostril and gets the noses coming towards you. It's a beautiful, opulent fragrance bottled. It's a fragrance that basically radiates warmth, comfort, and an understanding of sensuality. It's basically amber, a golden amber, with some ambergris, some ylang-ylang, and benzoin, ultimately making this one of the sexiest scents in my collection when it comes to wanting to portray a certain evocative mood of sensuality and allure. What it does, as it's on the skin, it has a simplicity to it while just being right on the money of what you want to smell like for the entire evening. This is a fragrance that lets the amber take center stage. It's rich, it's exemplary of a creamy vanilla and a whisper of smoky incense, which I love in fragrances that you've heard me talk about being a new vanguard for me, which is a lot of new sweet, warm incense fragrances. They do a trick that I did not think they would do. It feels almost sexy but sacred. To me, it settles and hits on the great use of benzoin, which is a sweet balsamic note that emerges at the midway point of about 2 hours. That's the transition that you start to love of this one. Actually, after the simplicity of the amber, the benzoin is one of the best. I know a lot of people talk about benzoin Bohème as being one of the best benzoin fragrances on the market. To me, this one is the one that takes the cake over anything benzoin Bohème talks about. I had several decants of that one trying to figure out what it was. It didn't do it for me in the realm of being a 10 out of 10 fragrance. This Amber Star, when it comes to benzoin, to me is a 10 out of 10 fragrance. It hits right on the nose where it talks about wrapping you a cocoon of masculinity and allure. This is for the man who values quiet confidence. I love that when I go out sitting at the bar by myself, or sometimes you want to contemplate, but you also want to be objectively sensual and attractive. This is a scent that ultimately does that. This is for you when you do not want to shout or be heard loudly. This is for the one who walks up, creeps up, reaches over you to grab a napkin, and she just smells this and can't walk away from you. When you wear this particular scent in a crisp fall evening, it is one that is of attraction and allure with that warm, appreciative value of golden amber, gray amber, and benzoin. Full stop. Sexy, sexy benzoin that is one that has ultimately become an attractive fragrance in my collection. And that incense, man, if you love what incense does, it's a whisper, but it's beautifully and grandly done in this particular scent. Get your nose on Amber Star. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, it's looked like Boadicea is popping up in quite a few of my lists lately. It's a fragrance house that I truly enjoy. They have some fragrances that have been some hits and misses for me, of course, like any other house. But lately, I've been pulling a lot from my Boadicea collection, and one of my favorites from that collection is Nemer, the Tiger Oud fragrance from the house, which is unapologetically rose, amber, and oud combination that is sexy. Unapologetically regal, a scent that exudes power, wealth, and a touch of mystery in a fragrance collection wardrobe. This is one that I just love to pull out to be fantastic smelling. The oud is bold, it's smoky, it's commanding of attention from the first spray. And while the lush Turkish rose in this one adds a very surprising softness that rounds out the intensity, it's one that ultimately is elevated by that oud. And this one that just brings raw sensualities to a fragrance. The oud in this one, it's so lush, woody, perfectly blended, not anything skanky, dank, or dark. It's not that type of oud. Those are some of my favorites. Of course, you've heard that out of my mouth. Those don't scare me. But when it comes to panty dropping, you want something with golden warmth, golden woods, and a lot of warm touches and accents of florals. That's what Nemer does. It's a fragrance that's designed for moments of dominating and seduction. This is one that really pulls in all the women around you. Everyone who smells this particular scent is attracted to it. It's for the man who leads without asking, and he does not hesitate to stand on his 10 toes and stand out in a crowd. Confident, confident, confident. Perfect for evenings where you want to make a lasting impression and have an aura around you that just brings intrigue and magnetism. The scent of Nemer is very sweet, warm, lush, and one that I cannot get enough of. One of my favorite scents from the house of Boadicea the Victorious, Nemer is a head-turning panty dropper. Ladies and gentlemen, next up on the list, head turner for certain. One of the best fragrances from the house of Roja Parfums. Top 3 in my collection from Roja Parfums. Beautiful, beautiful scent, fellas. A beautiful, beautiful scent. This is the daring, enigmatic fragrance for man who does not follow rules. This is the one for the man who sets them. He is the one who is boundless. He is one who loves spicy, warm, leathery fragrances, and this is one that is definitely a panty dropper in my collection. Man, just a stunner, man. Just a stunner. I don't know how I didn't put this last on the list to bring it forth to you to talk about this conversation. Number 3, Parfum de la Nuit number 3 Parfum is just a stunner of fragrance. This is one, like I said, cardamom and cumin provide a very spicy, slightly animalic edge, while the oud and rich woods that just create and operate within this depth of the fragrance that it just makes it a smoky base that feels unapologetically masculine and sensual. To me, this scent is one that pushes the boundaries. I love to push boundaries. You know I do. This is one that is sexy, sensual. It challenges the conventions of what a sexy fragrance can be and should be because of the way that cumin comes off. But once you get a fragrance in front of Roja and he blends his magic and he puts the smooth touches on all the hard edges, he does one that puts you into being the best of all risk takers in the room. You are not afraid of any individual. You are not reluctant to walk up to any woman and know your set and have your presence felt. She is one who's going to be attracted to you because you are the alpha male in the room when you wear this particular scent. You are the man who thrives on adventure and isn't afraid to embrace his dark side. Full stop. Sexy fragrance that tells that story. You're connected to that story when you wear this one, because when you wear this one, you are making a bold statement, leaving people captivated in your wake. Roja Parfums number 3. Gorgeous fragrance, man. Get your nose on this panty dropper for certain. I love this one, man. Like I said, top 3. It comes in flows. Top 3, top 1, top 2. It's that fragrance. It's between 1 and 3, depending on how my mood is or how the seasonality is. But this one here for me is a one-time fragrance that just, I've not smelled anything like this. There are some fragrances that hint at it. If you have the fragrance Sweetie Oud, which I need to talk about Sweetie Oud on this channel. If you have Sweetie Oud, it has some of the nuances of this one, but it's not quite yet done the trick of capturing what De La Nuit 3 does. So if you have Sweetie Oud and you like that, love that, you will be extremely happy with what De La Nuit number 3 does. Just the elevated fragrance that is just captivating, enigmatic, sexy, panty dropper. Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, next up, I'm out here handing out gems, fella. If y'all love fragrances, if y'all know what these fragrances do, as we all, that's what we on this channel, that's why we talk, that's why we have these captivating conversations about these fragrances, because we know the aura that they put around us is one that is unmatchable. when it comes to anything else that we present ourselves as. It's an accessory beyond accessory because it's one that is a fragrance. It ultimately is effective in one of the 5 human senses. Smell is one of the most memorable ways you can just put yourself in someone's mind. Fève Délicieuse is a Dior fragrance that has been discontinued, and I hope that they bring some compound back that really represents the scent profile. To me, as the cherry fragrances start to come to the helm, this one here is my only and favorite cherry fragrance in my collection. This one here is a dark cherry note. I remember getting this fragrance in my collection and wondering what it was that I was smelling. Ended up getting some dark cherry essence, and knowing that at that point the lavender, tonka bean, and dark cherry was exactly what this gourmand fragrance was representing. And this is a gourmand masterpiece. They should not have discontinued, but knowing that I have my bottle at almost 3/4 to 80% full, I am happy with this particular scent staying for the long haul. This one that walks the fine line between indulgence and masculinity. It's the one that has the tonka bean as its richness and the creamy offering of the sweet fillings that is in this particular scent. The first bite of this decadent dessert fragrance is one that just basically comes with a bit of cacao, a very warming vanilla, and an added layer of warmth and complexity from that cherry. Just comes off phenomenal. To me, this is the one that sets itself apart as a fragrance because of its balance. It's a fragrance that has a sophisticated touch and tonality while still having that grounded gourmand feel that I particularly am not always a fan of, but when I go to my gourmands, the deep, dark richness of this one is one that I could ultimately say is one of my favorite gourmand edible fragrances, and one that really does the trick for me when I wear it. This is the one for the man who enjoys a fine pleasure when it comes to the unpredictability of a fragrance profile or the unpredictability of a life situation. This one here it goes on almost like a fougere, ends up in a gourmand, and goes into a woody, just dark depth. Sexy. The gourmand takes the vanilla, the tonka bean, just sexual. This is perfect for a cold evening when you're just going out, having a cozy evening with your loved one, dinner date, wine, steak, candle lit, dark dim lit room. She's going to fall in love with the way this particular fragrance just invites her into your presence. Once dinner is over, she's going to come over to your side of the booth and cuddle up under you and whisper that thing in your ears that she's ready to go home and take off the panties, fellas. Fève Délicieuse, a fragrance from House of Dior that, like I stated, should not have been discontinued, but they do what they do. I'm glad I got mine. I think you guys should seek yours. Killer. Next up, gentlemen, we're going to talk about a fragrance from the House of Tom Ford, and this is one of the best heartbreakers in my collection. This is one that was always pulled out for Thanksgiving. This was one that was always pulled out for the event of Valentine's Day, and it's one that has so much sensuality. One of the first rose fragrances in my collection as a young man. Getting into what rose could do, this one was an off-putting fragrance to me and my personality until I really evolved into this fragrance game and understanding what these scents and scent profiles do. My God, what has the note of rose and oud done with this truffle in Tom Ford Noir de Noir? Captivated. That's all it's done. That's all it's ever done, and that's what it continues to do. This is one that bleeds a very beautiful softness of rose with a very earthy richness of truffle and oud. It is a very intense yet balanced fragrance that exudes a very mysterious allure and feels both masculine, sensual, and refined at the same damn time. There's a slight gothic elegance to this one that I love in this scent because of the black velvety undertones. It brings you into this dim lit light type of scenario which you want to be suitable for sensual effects afterwards, because this is a very provocative fragrance. This is one for the man who thrives on being in the shadows, the confident enough to let his presence be felt throughout the night at any moment to pop out. He talks a good game. He speaks with a very just assertive confidence, and he is not one who ever gets taken out of character. And that is why he can wear scents like Noir de Noir, because he is just that enigmatic and powerful. He leaves a lasting impression on everyone, and the first thing that people think about is, damn, he smelled good. That is what this one does. It's an impression of sophistication, elegance, and mystery, and it's a very sensual fragrance with that patchouli, that rose, that truffle, that saffron, and the oud accord that just comes off phenomenal. Get your nose on Noir de Noir. You won't Give the 5-minute mark. That's all I tell you. Wait 5 minutes on your skin. You'll see what I'm talking about. Crazy good, man. The patchouli rose combination. If you like fragrances like Nemer, you like fragrances like Coromandel, that rosy patchouli oud effect. This was the first, fellas. It did a trick. It does a trick. I'm never going to have it outside of my collection. Tom Ford Noir Noir. Panty dropper. Sophisticated, mysterious, elegant, impressionable. Gotta have it. Ladies and gentlemen, last on this particular list, a favorite from the house of Nasomatto. This was a list to be presented to you guys as a panty dropper list. One that I have ultimately put on my skin to become attractive, alluring, while smelling dynamic. Smelling of others is not what I want to do. I want to smell like no one else. Things that come to mind are everything that's been in this list. This 10-part list has won for, it's been effective. If you are one who seeks for attention, one who seeks for sensual validation at the end of the night, one that you don't have to coerce, one that you don't have to be just basically out of your character when it comes to being sensual, these fragrances elevate your personality. And the one thing about Baraonda, it is a raw, rugged, and intoxicating fragrance that I love to present in my personality when I'm going to bars. This is one that just speaks, screams, and ultimately becomes one of the most seductive fragrances when you talk about a brooding, boozy accord in fragrances. Rose, whiskey, cognac, berries, beautiful. It has a little tobacco essence in it as well. This is one for the one who doesn't play by the rules as well. Masculine, beautiful. The opening is bold and boozy, like a stepping into a distillery. It calms down to this warm oaky aroma that just fills the air. It's a very, very great performing scent that just stays on skin for hours while having great projection to be in a lounge setting, to bring the one that you want close to you and have you have a nightcap with her that just screams of panty dropping. As it evolves on the skin, this scent becomes soft and rich and woody with the base of sweetness and this dynamic allure that just blends the wildness of those wild berries with the refinement of the whiskey and boozy cognac cocktails. To me, this is one that just talks its talk and walks its walk without being complex. It does have an adventurous tinge to it, but it's one for the man who has his head on straight and lives his life unapologetically. He is not afraid to embrace his unexpected and expected successes. He is one who knows that the scent of late night conversations lead to panty dropping because the roaring fire, the conversations around the cocktails, ultimately the game you play is what you get, and you win with Baraonda, the panty dropper that panty drops. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed this fun list. The panty dropper list is one that I enjoy putting out. It's one that, like I stated, disclaimer, they will help you and aid you in your confidence. They will help you and aid you in getting to a woman, because that's what these stories have been told. These are fragrances that ultimately become attractive in your collection. So for me, these fragrances are more than just scents, they're experiences. They are ones that change moods. They are ones that help moments. They are ones that have you and sitting in situations where you won't be left waiting for the attention that you want. They are attractive. Whether you're looking for a captivating scent for someone that you want in your life to be around you, or you're going out dating and meeting new memorable people, these are ones that fill you with confidence, and they are a second skin that give you an unapologetically, positively captivating allure. I picked these out because to me they have been guaranteed to deliver, and they have done that to me and for me. So let me know in the comments below if these fragrances have done the same for you. Let me know if you have any of these in your collection, because I would love to know how these fragrances have performed for you guys, because these are ones that I know I already love, but I want to hear your opinion on them. So if you're planning to try them, drop that down below as well, because I have dropped some gems here for you, including the rosy take of Nemer, the rosy take of Noir, the special note of Kufi from Noir Extreme, all beautiful, beautiful fragrances. So for me, if you love the way that your skin comes off with just that touch of provocative notions, these are the 10 that you want in your collection. So, but until next time, until next video, you guys drop a comment, let me know below, and I will see you in the next video. You guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.